Folks, we got a red dot. Welcome back to Akron's hottest and fastest growing show, Three Throw to Go. I'm your host, Hank Forrester, coming to you live from inside the Woodridge High School Library this evening. We are here tonight to discuss the candidates for school board that are in the upcoming election that is taking place in November. We get to meet and greet with them tonight. If you have any questions, please feel free to send those in on the comment sections on the feed, okay? But right now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a chance to meet some of these candidates, and I'm gonna get an opportunity to ask them some questions that have already been sent in from the community in advance of this event, okay? We've got 5 candidates that have joined us here this evening. So round of applause for all of them right now, okay? We do, in addition to us being live here tonight, we also do have a live studio audience for the first time in a very long time. That's been, I'm trying to remember, besides Voices in the 330, the last time was at Acme before the pandemic started. So it's been a while, all right? So thank you all for joining us here this evening, and I'm gonna do my best to try and keep us focused on task and organized, all right? But without further ado, let's go ahead and start meeting some of the candidates. And we pre-selected, we pre-drew a little bit of a batting order for them to go in. And right now we're gonna get started. The first question I'm gonna ask is, first of all, I'd like the candidates to introduce themselves and tell us why they're running for school board and kind of give us their background in terms of their qualification, their experience, the relevant involvement in the community and the commitments that they've had to the school district and their background, okay? So right now, without further ado, I'm gonna start with candidate number 1. Let's hear it for Tammy, everybody.
Hi, for those of you that don't know me, my name's Tammy Heffernan. I have lived in the Woodridge district almost my whole life. I am retired from Famous Enterprise. I worked there for 40 years. And I was accounts payable manager. I am a Woodridge alumni, proud of Woodridge alumni. I have 2 sons who also are Woodridge alumni. My oldest is Kevin, he's married to Kim, and they have a sweet little granddaughter, Paige. My second son is Jeff. He's also a Woodridge graduate, and his wife Brittany is also a Woodridge graduate. So we got a lot of Woodridge in us, and they also have a little girl. I've been married to 20 years to Jim Burrell. I run a food pantry in my spare time in Akron that's eligible to anyone. If anyone knows of anyone that needs help, get to me after the meeting or contact me. So that's a little bit about myself. I love dogs, especially bulldogs, but that's my spiel. So.
All right, Tammy, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Next candidate is going to be Scott. So Scott, you want to head on up for me? I'm sorry?
I thought we were doing both those together.
Yes, I just want you to keep going if you didn't get done. I'm sorry. You can go back up. I didn't know that.
For the first question?
Yes, yeah, please continue then. My mistake, okay? Hey, live television. Scott, up, down, up, down.
All right, get it right. Okay, why am I running for the Woodridge School Board? I've had the honor and the privilege of serving our community as a member of the Woodridge Board of Education for the last 21 years. My 21 years are a proven record. It has never been or will be about politics or agendas. Over this time, we have earned the state's highest ratings, attracted families and students to our schools, and enjoyed unparalleled success on the athletic fields, in the arts, and the classrooms. I have served with passion and enthusiasm and have demonstrated that I will take the time that we need to do its best for the district and the community. Over the last few years, we've worked very hard to realize our dream of a central campus for our schools. Making it a reality was essential for our district's future. Consistency in leadership is essential during these uncertain times. My experience in hiring 3 superintendents will be invaluable in hiring a replacement for Mr. Davis. Great things are happening in our district. I ask for your continued support so we can maintain the momentum. I have a lot more to give, and I truly love serving all the kids in this district, plus school administrators, the community, everybody. It's all into one. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. All right, Scott, let's try that again. You're up.
Thank you. My name is Scott Carlo. I'm a resident of the district. I've been here since 2003. My oldest daughter just graduated this past spring from Woodridge. I have a young daughter also that's a junior. And I've been engaged in this community since probably started in 2010. I have run our school levies. I ran the bond campaign that got our new elementary school built. I've organized and continue to run the Woodridge Advocacy Network, and that spun off into a statewide initiative called the Ohio Public School Advocacy Network. I'm the executive director of that, and our mission is really to build a network of public school communities across the state of Ohio to have a better impact, a proactive impact on public school education policy. There's a lot of bad policy out there, and it's hurting the district, it's hurting kids, and it hurts us taxpayers. And the only way that we can fix that is if we organize voters to get engaged to do that, and so that's what we're working on. I have owned a small business for 15 years, and since then I've predominantly been doing IT consulting. So that's what I do during my daytime. And I very much love the district. We moved here specifically because of the schools. It was a great move, a great decision. It was a great district for my kids. It continues to be a great district, and I want to continue to be a part of that. In addition to the school levies, I was the vice president and president of our athletic booster club for I think 4 or 5 years. I was team soccer mom for our middle school and high school program. Like I said, I just really feel it's important to provide service to the community and give back, and I would like to continue to do that as a school board member. The reason why I'm running is, like Tammy, I like to serve the district, and I believe specifically, as it states on the ballot, that a school board candidate is nonpartisan. I consider myself an independent. I very much want to see politics stay out of our school boards and predominantly just serve the entire community. We have a very broad, very diverse community here at Woodridge, and I want to be a voice that represents all of them and provide the same great things that my kids have had. I believe my experience, both as a business owner as well as the work I've done with the school levies, the work I've done with really digging in and drilling down into the school finance and fair funding bill through our advocacy work, gives me some valuable tools to use as a school board candidate. And all those 10 years, I've worked closely with these two great people and all the work that they've done. I've worked closely with Mr. Davis and the administration, and really have gotten a good feel for what it takes to just keep Woodridge humming along, and I believe that all of those experiences will serve the community well. Thanks.
All right, Scott, thank you. All right, Dave.
Good evening, my name is David Lydick. I've been in the district. We moved here in 2006, a longtime resident of Carlo Falls. Moved from Carlo Falls and Monroe Falls over to Regent Park. I'm an employee of Cisco Food Services of Cleveland, been there for 29 plus years. With Cisco, 35 in the industry, serving the greater Akron area in sales and management. My wife, Patty, is a kindergarten teacher at Talmadge City Schools for the better part of 28 years. And I truly get a unique look at not only what Woodridge Local School District does, but I also get an inside look at a neighboring district from a teacher's point of view. So I think that's very valuable. My daughter attended here 6th through 8th grade, and painstakingly we had to send her over to Carlo Falls, which I graduated from in '85, because we didn't have a swim program here, and she was an avid swimmer. Let's see, my son Mason, he went to Talmadge for K through 5, because he went with his mom, and then came here through 6 through 12, graduated in 17, and I currently don't have any children in the district, but when I started my involvement, I mean, I chased both of them around in 2 school districts, really. My nephew graduated in 2017. My niece graduated last year, and I have a niece in 8th grade right now, so I'd like to follow her through, you know, till she graduates, hopefully, if I get reelected. Let's see. And as a taxpayer and being involved in so many activities within the district over the course of many years, I'd like to continue my public service on the board for the next 4 years, as there will be critical decisions being made, and I'm sure we'll get into some of those critical decisions down the road here in the next 4 years. My experiences, qualifications, current Woodridge Board of Education member, vice president. I was appointed in 17, elected for a 4-year term in 18, expiring obviously this year. Former Woodridge Athletic Booster Club member and past president. Cuyahoga Falls Little League North volunteer and board member. Cuyahoga Falls Tiger Shark Swim Club volunteer board member and past president for that program as well. I just enjoy what I do. I like staying in touch with the community, and there's no better way than to serve on the school board, as I've been all through everything that I think we can be involved with here. And I would appreciate your consideration and your vote coming up. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. All right, Kelly, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Kelly Lowden. I have lived in the district since 2010, when I was remarried, and my kids were my older 2 kids were currently going to Chapel Hill Christian. And when I married and moved to Woodridge, I withdrew them from Chapel Hill Christian and enrolled them in the Woodridge School District. My husband and his family originally moved to the Northampton area in 1967, so they've been lifelong residents. And when I remarried to him, we kept that farm off of Steele's Corners, and we currently have the same farm. His mom was a school bus driver for Woodridge, and she stayed, I think she worked for about 20 years before she retired. I originally grew up in Hudson. I went to Hudson schools and then transferred over to CUCA, where I graduated in 1995. I then went off to the University of Findlay, where I got a bachelor's in animal science and farm management. And immediately following my graduation, I opened my own business with horse training, boarding, doing riding lessons for both kids and adults. So it's been 20 plus years of working with a lot of kids. I also enjoyed working in my cousin's local church, where I did a lot of the youth ministry stuff. So I've always been involved with kids, and I really enjoy it. I also have worked at the Hudson Veterinary Hospital. I work there part-time in the evenings. And some of my qualifications that I feel that I have for running for school board are, my youngest is now 7 years old, Josie, she's in 1st grade. My next is Landon, he's in 3rd grade. Josie's in 1st, Landon's in 3rd, Chase is in 11th, and Jordan's a senior at Woodridge this year. So I have a lot of involvement on a day-to-day basis with what's going on in the elementary school all the way up to the high school. I hear a lot of the daily activities of the school. I've been involved with the rec program. I was the assistant volleyball coach a few years back with Judy Monaco. My husband and I last year were the scorekeepers for the rec baseball team. I do a lot of PTO. I'm in the walking club. I run the walking club now at the elementary. So once a week, my friend and I walk with about 500 elementary kids during all of their recess. So I get to know a lot of the kids, and I hear a lot about their school day. I am planning on getting the Veterans Day program going in the elementary school, which is for local veterans and 4th graders. I think that's a really important thing to keep our veterans involved in our community, especially with a lot of the younger kids that don't have a veteran particularly in their life. Once I feel my business knowledge from the last 20 years can apply to running a school. You know, being on the school board, a lot of running a school has the same as running a business. Thank you.
All right, Kelly, thanks so much. All right, Valerie.
Hello, I'm Valerie Mcgee. My husband is Dave, and my son is Josh, who is a 10th grader in Woodridge High School. My husband and I had, when we married, we originally were living in the city of Cuyahoga Falls, but we both knew that we wanted to be in Woodridge. We love the area, and we've heard such wonderful things about the Woodridge School District, and we felt that that was the best place to go for Josh's education. So in August of 2012, we closed on a home and moved here in the Northampton area. And that very same month, Josh started first grade. So I have seen him go from first grade to 10th grade here, and it's been fun. I have been, as far as my qualifications go, I have been an assistant manager at a retail chain for several years, and then after that I worked for a catalog company for 20 years in customer service, for 7 and 13 for purchasing. And now I have my own business which is real estate. I love to help people. I love to help people find their home. And out of all of those things, I have done interviews for my company to hire people. I have hired, I have fired, I have done bookkeeping, I have been problem solving, negotiations, I've learned advertising, I educate and I train, which is definitely something I love to do. And also I write and interpret contracts. So I have a lot of background. Some of it you can see by my age that I'm a little older, and but I love the Woodridge School District area. I have been a homeroom mom. I have helped in the library, volunteer in the library with Mrs. Sterling. That was one of my favorite things. I've been a homeroom mom for doing parties. And Josh has been involved in some sports, which I have been a part of in volunteering and flipping the hamburgers and the hot dogs and at his football games to sell to make money for our football players. So it's been fun, and I have this passion that I really truly want to help Woodridge in another capacity, and that would be being on the board. There's a lot of things going on, as a lot of everyone here has mentioned. We're going to have to hire a new superintendent soon. We've had issues. Last year was not the greatest year, but I want to make sure that we have kids that have not suffered from that, and making sure that the teachers have the tools to help them catch up if that is the situation. And we're growing, always growing, and that is a wonderful thing. But we also need fresh blood. We need new perspectives. We need just to be able to help and look outside the box and see what we can do to help keep this wonderful district growing. Thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. All right, folks, so for this next set of questions, I'm going to try and ask you to keep your response to about 2 minutes, okay? So I'm going to kind of switch the order up. We're going to start with Scott. And the question I have, again, this came in from the community. It's with regards to the district's growth and the capacity within the school system, do you feel that open enrollment should continue? And if so, why or why not?
So whether it should continue or not, I think needs to be decided sometime in December. So I would get this question a lot with doing the levy campaigns, and people think that it actually hurts us. currently, open enrollment generates, last time I'd heard, it's about $400,000 in the positive for our district. And so when people are often saying that we should be finding creative ways to ease the burden on our taxpayers, open enrollment has been a critical way to do that. With the new fair funding bill, I'm not exactly sure how those numbers are going to work out for us. And I've talked with the treasurer, and we won't know that until the end of the year. So as long as it continues to be a financial positive for us, I'm all for it. And the only thing I would like to clarify with that is that the open enrollment is pretty restrictive. It's a process whereby candidates are screened. I believe we've had hundreds of candidates turned away when they do that. And the district, if you think about it as an airplane, it's going to have empty seats. And so we're spending the money for that teacher, and we're spending the money for that empty seat. If we can fill that seat and bring more revenue into our district, that's good for our taxpayers. More importantly, an open enrolled student brings $6,500 roughly, it's probably a little more now, into our district, where our own kids from the state of Ohio are getting around $900. So that's a huge difference. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
All right, Dave? Same question. In regards to district's growth and capacity within the school system, open enrollment, should it continue, and why or why not?
As Scott said, I agree with the open enrollment that we have currently today. And as long as we have seats available, keeping class sizes manageable for the teachers, and without hiring additional staff, that is by far most important. With the current situation and structure of open enrollment over these past 5 years, and I'm going to go a little bit different from what Scott did, the difference between open enrollment and what we bring in is $400,000 to $500,000. But the actual numbers are, we bring in about $1.2 million a year that saves taxpayers approximately 2.13 mils of taxes in our foundation without going to the ballot. Okay, so that's a huge number. And again, it's open enrollment. And like Scott said, we get $6,500 for an open enrolled child to come in here, where we only get $800 or $900 from the state. So, you know, if we have those empty seats and we have the ability to fill those seats, you know, why not? It takes the burden off of all the taxpayers. And then, you know, to go with Scott on that same thread, is that could change in December when the state announces the new fair funding model. So, as we've all been saying, stay tuned, because it was supposed to be out last month, and it got pushed back till December. So, we probably will see some changes there. We just don't know what they're going to be, but we'll keep everybody posted as best we can.
Okay, thank you, Dave. All right. Kelly?
With regards to the district's growth and capacity, I feel that open enrollment is very important, as if we have the open seats, why not fill them, because it is a benefit to our district. But then on the other hand, if we have just not enough seats and we have to hire more staff, if we have to make our buildings bigger, then I don't feel that at that point it is a benefit to us. I know that the open enrollment can supplement our classes and definitely provide additional funding, which, you know, we definitely, that's a pro for us for sure. We want to have a balance to accommodate all these wishes with the open enrollment without overcrowding our schools.
Thank you. And Valerie?
Yes, I do believe in open enrollment as well. Pretty much agree with the rest of them in the sense that you still do need a balance between not having to worry about hiring teachers, but do fill those empty seats. It has been a benefit. I've talked to Tom Morehouse, and he has kind of given me a brief information on where a lot of our tax dollars going to the state, as far as the way they manage the money and give us what we're supposed to get. Obviously, we certainly get a lot more for open enrollment. My goal, though, is to be able to work with Tom in finding out more grants that are out there that'll help fund the school and make it a little bit easier for our taxpayers. They have a lot of money that they have to pay, so anything we can do and try to help reduce that is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. And Tammy?
Oh, going last, everybody kind of already said everything, but I did have a few other things. Yes, we did net out $532,000 from open enrollment for the kids going out and kids coming in. I am absolutely in favor of open enrollment, but it must be limited, not to compromise the promise of our smaller class sizes, and that's something Woodridge has always been done very well at. Due to negotiated agreements, the staff can bring their children to Woodridge under open enrollment, and we receive funding from them, so that's a plus for them. We do not accept open enrollment to the extent that it makes us hire additional staff. The iffy thing is when the kids are accepted in open enrollment, there's no guarantee that they can be here for the next year or their siblings. So that's something you kind of got to balance, because we only will let the kids come in if there's room. You know, like Scott talked about the seats, seats in the airplane, seats in the classroom, seats in the bus. But you can't always have the same amount in each grade. Depends on what we have. That fair funding model will change this. And as everybody said, we don't really know till December what that's going to look like, but hopefully it'll be something that we can bring just as much money in. In the 6th district compact, there are 4 schools that do have open enrollment and 4 that don't. An interesting fact is most of the kids that we take in from open enrollment are from Cuyahoga Falls, Akron, and Stowe, in that order. The kids that leave Woodridge on open enrollment, they go to Akron, Cuyahoga Falls, and Stowe in that order. But we've received a lot of really good kids, and Woodridge used to be the place that was the biggest secret. It's not a secret anymore. Everybody wants to come to Woodridge, and if we could bring them all, it'd be great. But as people said, we can't really hire more teachers and expand the buildings at this point. But I like open enrollment. I like it. The kids want to come here.
Thank you, Tammy. All right, next question. Again, try and keep your answers to 2 minutes. This is going to Dave to start. All right, so students in the Woodridge district, not just Woodridge, but all school districts, right? They've all been facing completely unforeseen challenges, and as we make our way through this pandemic, there's going to come a point where the effects of that pandemic start to fade, and the focus will start to change, hopefully, right? So what is the most important issue that you see, or the challenge that's facing this Woodridge district over the next 4 years, and what is your strategy for addressing that issue?
Well, as we've stated before, there's several challenges coming up, or that are going to need to be addressed, not only with the kids and whatnot, but obviously with this funding model, we're going to have to figure out how that's going to come down in December. So the funding is huge. We need to stay on that. We need to stay engaged with the fair funding groups and continue the community involvement with that. And the more people from the community that get involved, the better that the people down at the State House in Columbus are going to hear us. We can on the board make as much noise as we want, but it's going to take the masses to get things moving in the right direction. And it's slowly turning, but we're not there yet. We still need everybody's involvement to move ahead. The other pressing challenge, obviously, hiring a new superintendent. I feel that even before I was on the school board, Wally Davis has done an outstanding job with this district over the years he's been here. So it's going to be a tall task to get somebody in my opinion, as good, if not better. You know, the third part of that question, it refers to staffs and students. You know, with having an educator in the house is to keep them on track moving forward educationally, and as it pertains to, you know, performance in the classroom and mental health. I think that everybody in this room has taken, you know, had to take a 5-minute break because this whole pandemic thing is just driving everybody nuts.
5?
And
Just 5?
10, 15, take a week, whatever it takes. But you know, some examples of that that we've done over, you know, the prior year, we've hired an additional counselor, so we have 3 counselors now. Let's see, the current support when requested by parents, continuing the summer program to help support the progress. So we bridge that gap that, you know, if kids miss school because of the pandemic or whatnot. Utilizing all contracted agencies when and where necessary, and if not all of this is supported and funded by the state and Governor DeWine. So it's important that we continue with all these high quality support mechanisms just to see everybody through, and that's where I think that we need to be.
Thank you, Dave. All right, Kelly?
Definitely one of the most important issues that we will have is hiring a new superintendent, and obviously I've never been a school board member, so it will be a challenge, but I'll be open to learning and talking with past board members, getting some knowledge from other people in our community. I think another topic that has come to light in general in all communities is the school board itself. I mean, in the past year, people have realized that they actually have a school board for their schools. So it has opened a totally new gate for school boards and how they work and how they interact with their community. And to me, I feel like that's a really important, it's not an issue, it's a topic. I think it's a really important topic that we need to address and be open to our community. I kind of had an idea of maybe starting a group or a committee that 1 or 2 of the board members can have like a coffee with the council once a month. And if there's a parent that's really concerned and has a lot of issues, let us sit down and talk for maybe an hour once a month. It's just an idea of mine. I like to be open. I like to talk to people and any issues. It's important. Me as a parent of 4, there's a lot of issues when you have 4 kids in the school. Another issue will definitely be how has the pandemic affected our kids. With having kids, I know that it definitely has taken effect. My older kids are feeling like they are playing catch up. So I'm sure there's some things we need to do academically as well as mentally and socially for our kids. Another issue that probably will be coming to our school eventually is the curriculum. I am definitely going to strive to keep CRT out of our curriculum and out of our district. That's a really important thing for me personally, especially since I have a first grader. So I have 11 years to fight to keep our schools the way they are, because you guys have always done a really good job.
Okay. Thank you, Kelly. All right, Valerie?
Definitely the hiring of a superintendent, that is definitely important. We want to have a superintendent that understands our community, being that it's a small hometown community. One of the things that board members can do is figure out how we are going to be able to look for one, asking for help from the Ohio State Board of Education, having the board do it, but also maybe forming a committee that includes not only the board members, the staff possibly, and maybe a few seniors. Seniors that are gonna leave, but since they've already finished all their 12 grades that they've been in, they can probably have a better picture and idea of what they would like to see in a superintendent. Growth is another issue. Being that people do want to come over to Woodridge and from open enrollment, sometimes we have to think about the growth and what's going to happen in the next few years. Tom Morehouse, I know we've been talking about, as I had said before, grants. We need to look at the tax abatements when they're going to be expiring, and also just basically looking at the numbers and seeing what we can do to look ahead, because I'm sure we're going to have some growth in the next few years, and we need to be prepared for that. Also, the pandemic has definitely been an issue. I think we just need to make sure that the students are healthy, both mentally as well as being able to keep going in their studies if they have any issues. That needs to be addressed. I'm glad to hear that we have another school counselor to help out in that situation. Yeah, I agree with also everybody else.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. All right, Tammy? That's all right, man.
Okay, I have several issues. The mental health of the students was mentioned by a couple people, and that's very important. Our goal is to always keep all the kids in school at all times, and some of the kids, I'm sure, have had issues, and they have had counselors, but they may need some more help, and I'm all for that. Also, I just want to make sure that, as always, that all our students have the best possible opportunities and access to the programs and curriculum that will prepare them for the future. And this is not only kids that are going to college, but it'll be the workforce or maybe in the military. We have to provide the best for our kids in this competitive world. We do have the best of the best, not only with the kids, but the admin, teachers, support staff. We just have to make sure that it continues. Money is always an issue. It's never not going to be, I'll just say that. So we try to do the fair funding. Scott has been most involved of all of us with that, and I'm sure he will touch on that. But we are looking always to lower our taxes. I pay taxes here. We have done all the grants. We look at grants all the time. I don't know that people are aware of that, but we do that. But I'm sure there are more that we can look at too. But it's an involved thing. It's not just something that you can take a couple hours and do. It's very involved. The other thing, which I think is probably the most important for this time right now, is the hiring of a new superintendent. I am the only candidate with experience of hiring superintendents, and I have hired 3 of them. And I think that experience will be very invaluable for that. I want to ensure that it's an adequate process is followed to hire the new superintendent. We have tons of questions. They're everywhere from, what is your mission? What are your morals? What do you feel about classroom studies versus football? And I mean, there's a ton of them. And we check references. We have first interviews, second interviews, sometimes third interviews, and we do reach out to all different places to get candidates. But I'll tell you, when they know Woodridge is up, we will have candidates. I mean, it's been a tough year. There's been 3 or 4 superintendents in our area that have resigned because it's tough, and it's been really tough with this pandemic. I mean, you're darned if you do and darned if you don't. So it's really important to get a good superintendent, and he is the one that hires the teachers and the bus drivers and all that. It goes through him. We do not do that. That is not our job. We do hire them, when we vote for them and stuff, but the superintendent is the one that reaches out and brings people in and does that. And I think Wally has just done a phenomenal job. So that's my ideas.
Thank you, Tammy. All right, Scott.
So I would agree that at least in the immediate 4 years, finding our new superintendent is probably the biggest task we face. A slight tangent I'll take on that is, I think my biggest concern is community, and not just a Woodridge community, but the country as a whole. And I think the greatest risk that we are facing ahead of us is the division. The national political divide that we all watched over the last 20 years has trickled down into our individual school board meetings. And it's not just us that see it, right? If you're on social media, you're seeing just a circus at one school board over another. And that's having an impact on hiring. There's a new study in Education Week that I just saw today where 40% of administrators are saying that it is a major challenge to find teachers, substitute teachers, bus drivers. I hope you're right. And I want to say we absolutely will need Tammy's experience in hiring the next superintendent. And I hope that we'll have them come. But in my advocacy work, out of the 20 districts that we're currently working with, 4 superintendents retired just last year alone because they're tired of being attacked by their communities. And if we need to be able to find a way to come together as a district, put we over me, and I think if we can do that in this community, and we begin to sit down and start having conversations, and navigate how we can work together as a community, we can be a place that teachers do want to come and work at, and they do now, but it's a struggle. But that challenge that's out there is going to be significant, and I think we as a community have the ability to create an environment that people are going to want to be in. So.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. All right, I want to take a minute to just address some of the comments and the questions and concerns that were coming in from our live audience, okay? So when we do this here at 3-3 to Go, the thought process is we want to get as many candidates together as possible so that we can spread that word and share that word for all of them, right? We did this, I think the first time we did it was like two and a half years ago, right? So the election before the stuff, right? And it was for city council people in Akron, and it was just like, if you want to come share your story, and a bunch of them did. It was if you want to come do it, right? But we didn't force it and all that. And then last year we completely avoided anything to do with all elections, like the plague. Gee, I wonder why. I think Scott brought it up. So yeah, we totally avoided the election last year. But now this idea is back to what we did 2.5 years ago, and that is get all the candidates together, give them a chance, give them an opportunity to kind of share all their thoughts together. And we try to do it as fairly as possible. But one of the concerns that people did have on the live is Alyssa Taylor, is that her name? Is not here. Is she the 6th? Okay, so she's the 6th person running as a candidate, and she just didn't make it this evening. But the show must go on. That's what we do here, right? So to that end, I will address that with our live audience. She has every opportunity to answer these questions in the comment sections of this live video, because there are people that are asking those questions. On top of that, there were some people that actually addressed individually you folks. So instead of me asking you individually, because I don't want to have it be a whole thing again, you can go into those comment sections and you can answer those questions directly as you. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah. Everybody agree with that? Yep. Because that's what I'm doing. All right. So without further ado, we're going to do closing remarks, and we're going to go in our next order. So I believe Kelly will be our first person to go, and these will be their final little 2 minutes to share with you. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. 2 minutes for real this time. I'm going to time it. All right. So give your closing remarks, and we'll close this thing down here in a little bit. All right? Cool?
Okay.
Sweet. Kelly, you're up. Go ahead. Thank you.
I just wanted to say that I've really enjoyed being involved with Woodridge for the past 12 years since my kids started in the school district. I've had experience from Hudson schools. I went to Holy Family as a child. My younger kids my older kids, when they were young, went to Valley Christian Academy. Then they switched to Chapel Hill. And when we moved to Woodridge, they started at Woodridge. And I honestly can't say that there is much of a comparison. I mean, private schools are supposed to be bigger and better and everything better, and I didn't feel like that when we came to Woodridge. It was, my oldest daughter wanted to go back to CBC because that's where all her friends were, and she went back for a year, and she's like, nope, I have to go back to Woodridge. So I've really enjoyed being involved in the community, and I hope that I can stay involved more than just PTO and a room parent. I have definitely built a lot of new friendships in the district, not only in sports, but just in general, especially the staff. The teachers are awesome, and I've become friends with a lot of them. I would really like to, when I'm elected, to keep the equity programs intact. That's a really important thing for me. As a single parent for a long time, I knew how important it was to still have your child be involved in stuff, even though we definitely couldn't afford it. So I'm very thankful for Woodridge in that fact as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. All right, Valerie.
Thank you. I really would love to work on the board. I have a passion for helping people. I want to be able to, I have so many ideas that I want to be able to start either implementing them or just at least conversation with the board and see what we can do to take Woodridge to the next level. It is an awesome school district. I love it. I think my son has done very well. It took some time for him, but he managed to come out really good, and his grades are just awesome, and I'm so proud of him. And also what I want to do is to be able to communicate to you, the community. I think sometimes we don't know about that we have a Board of Education is because you don't hear as much. And I think what I really want to do is to be able to communicate what the board has been doing, and get that website, our Woodridge website, functioning to the point where we have things listed of what passed and why did it pass. Comments and questions that you can put in the website as to what is going on. And for some of those people that don't have a computer or don't understand how to work the web, just send out newsletters or have some board, like Kelly had mentioned, have a cup of coffee with a board member once a month or twice a month. Get to know us. Get to see what our values are and our thoughts. And I would really love to be able to serve you, and I'd be honored. Thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. Tammy?
First of all, I'd like to thank 330 To Go for sponsoring this forum and giving us the opportunity to share why we would be the best candidate for the Woodridge School Board. I also want to thank the high school for hosting the event. I appreciate the interest in the education of our students by all the candidates running for school board. It's nice to see some interest where in a lot of years we haven't had any, so it's nice to see that interest. With that said, I feel I'm the best qualified candidate for the board. I didn't really go into my experience before, but I've been in the levy committees, negotiating teams for the WEA and the OPSI team, design for new facilities. I was Booster Club president or vice president for several years, scholarship committees. I mean, I could go on and on. I also did the room parenting all the way through, and I guess that's after I did all those things, when my kids are graduated, I still had this burning desire to help. So the school board, I went to a lot of meetings to see if I thought it was a good fit, and that was just kind of like the next step that I really wanted to do. If you have any questions, anybody has any questions or need information, please feel free to contact me at any time. I appreciate everyone that attended this forum, came out. I know it was late, but nice to see you, and If they're on Facebook Live, or watch the shared recording another time, that'd be great. I will always be a bulldog and would appreciate your vote in November.
Thank you, Tammy. All right, Scott.
Likewise, thank you guys for hosting and doing this. I really appreciate it, and you're volunteering your time for that. So again, I'm hoping you'll find value in putting me on the school board, and in my past experience is worthy of serving the district. I should say, continuing to serve the district. I'm eager to serve the entire community without an agenda, and understand the actual role of a school board member, whereby we're there to support our superintendent and our treasurer, and enable them and the leaders on our district to do their jobs. And that's what you're going to get from me if you put me on the school board. So, and you said you wanted to keep this fun, right?
Sure.
I would say like bibbidi boppy boo or something.
No, it's fine. We can bip, bop, and boo. It's fine.
Thank you, Michael Victor, for that.
All right. Nice, Jeff. All right, Dave, you're up. Finish this off.
Short and to the point. My priorities, as it always has been over the last 4 years, and will be moving forward, is to support in the decision-making that are best for the children, the faculty, the administrators, and the residents of the community, to work with no outside agenda with fellow board members, treasurer, administrator, superintendent, to keep Woodridge local schools the choice for education. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. All right, to our viewing audience, just a reminder that the Halloween light loops are still out there for the next 2 to 3 weeks. There are a lot of people going and seeing those. Please make sure you check those out. It's been quite an ordeal getting those set up, and people are really enjoying them, so make sure you do that. Also, just a reminder that next week is our listener and viewer party. You can come on out to The Works, Cuyahoga Falls, right on Front Street, right? And that's it's a nice opportunity to come meet us, come meet the team. A bunch of us are going to be there. Nick from Does It Suck is going to be there. Jerry's going to be there. Jess is going to be there. Kate's going to be there. Moonman's going to be there playing music. So there's going to be all kinds of fun stuff, all right, to come out and check out. And come meet us, because, you know, a lot of you honk at the truck and wave, but it'd be nice to see your faces too, all right? And on the heels of that, as soon as those Halloween light loops come down, it's automatically going to be replaced with the holiday Christmas loops. And we're going to start getting that ready. That was a massive undertaking last year. But we really appreciate everyone tuning in. We reached out to districts and whoever about 2 or 3 or 4 weeks ago now, and Woodridge was the only one that really took advantage of it, okay? So for you other folks that are out there that are asking that question, if you do your thing wherever it is and you want us to share it, we can do that. That's fine, all right? But at this point, it's a little late to start setting stuff up because the elections are in, 2 weeks or whatever, 2.5 weeks. Hey, that's all I got. I don't know where I'm going, but there ain't no sense of being late. Everybody out there and everybody in here, say goodnight, Shirley.
Good night, Shirley.